Hello, welcome to episode 57 of the Daily Disney Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. I do ask, if you are enjoying the content, please leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast outlet. Excuse me, and please also like and subscribe to the podcast. We're on all the different outlets out there. Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Google, all the different podcast outlets, we are there. So I ask that you please like and subscribe. Also, check us out on the Twitterverse, Daily Disney Pod, and on YouTube, Daily Disney Podcast. We also record this show, the video version, so we put that up as well. And then also, everything is hosted at thedailycraig.net. So, today, episode 57 already. Can't believe it. We're this far into our first season. And we're going to talk all about a ride, an attraction that will be under refurbishment in the near future. We're going to talk about Splash Mountain over at Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. The first line in this article that I'm reading is, if you're looking for the NBA player's nickname Splash Mountain, Brooke Lopez, click here. So there's an NBA player that has the same nickname as this attraction. Did not know that. Very interesting. And yeah, very, very interesting. Anyway, Splash Mountain is a log flume at Disneyland, Tokyo Disneyland, and Magic Kingdom. It's based on the animated sequences of the 1946 Disney film Song of the South, a movie you will never find nowadays. Although there are variations in the story and features between the three locations, each begins with its peaceful outdoor float through that leads to an indoor dark ride segment, with a climactic steep drop into a briar patch followed by an indoor finale. The drop is 52.5 feet. In June 2020, it was announced that the U.S. versions of the ride would be replaced with a theme based around the 2009 film Princess and the Frog. So there you go. The plot behind Splash Mountain is put together through Uncle Remus stories. The different versions of Splash Mountain feature similar stories with small differences. All to do with Song of the South, Brer Fox, Brer Bear, The Laughing Place, all the different things like that. We're not going to get too far into that because I don't want to get flagged for anything inappropriate, but just know Song of the South is a movie that you probably will never watch in your lifetime. So it was a different time back then, obviously. Splash Mountain was originally conceived in the summer of 1983 by Tony Baxter while stuck in rush hour traffic on his way to work. He wanted to attract guests to the often empty Bear Country land at Disneyland, with the only attraction being the Country Bear Jamboree. They had a souvenir shop, and they wanted to make use of the audio animatronics from America Sings, which was poorly attended. Dick Nunis, who insisted that the Imagineers create a log flume for Disneyland, but the Imagineers were initially unenthusiastic about it, feeling that log flumes were too ordinary theme park attractions to include in Disney parks. While trying to solve the problems of including a log flume, bringing people into Bear Country, and reusing the characters from America Sings, Baxter thought of Song of the South. Construction began at Disneyland in April of 1987. By that time, Splash Mountain, whose budget had risen to $75 million, had become one of the most expensive projects created by Walt Disney Imagineering. The entire park cost around $17 million to build in 1955, which translates to $80 million in 1987. According to Mark Davis's wife Alice, when American Sings closed in 1988 in April, production of Splash Mountain had gone far over budget. The only way to recover was to close down America Sings and use the characters from that attraction, just as they had talked about. Baxter and his team developed the concept Zippity-Doo River Run, which would incorporate scenes of Songs of the South. The name was later changed to Splash Mountain after CEO Michael Eisner suggested that the attraction be used to help to market the 1984 film Splash. The characters from America Sings were used in many scenes throughout the ride, and all the main characters were really created new. So all the things you see with Brer Bear, Brer Fox, Brer Rabbit, those are all new animatronics. Baxter and his team had to deal with some staging problems. All of the animatronics had to move to new locations. Basically, they gutted everything from America Sings. They had a lot of issues staging them and kind of keeping them out of public view. Splash Mountain was originally planned to open in 1988, but it was delayed to 89. The planned grand opening on July 17th, 1989 could not be met. Early riders made up of company executives were getting soaked rather than lightly sprayed, so the ride opening date had to be delayed. Again, for months, so the boats could be redesigned to hold fewer passengers, to build them lighter, and to redesign the bottom and learn how to make them less likely that the splash would go kind of over their head. To celebrate the opening of the Disneyland version in 1989, a television special was made called Ernest Goes to Splash Mountain. Actor and comedian Jim Varney returned to play the title role of Ernest. In 91, construction began at Splash Mountain at Walt Disney World and Magic Kingdom. 92 began at Tokyo Disneyland. The two versions of Splash Mountain officially opened within a day of each other in 1992. In the late 1990s, the ride became synonymous with the phrase in the late 90s, there were a lot of inappropriate behavior going on the ride. People were losing clothes on the ride, and there were a lot of different phrases that came up for that. And again, we're not going to talk about that here. We're a family-friendly show. But just know, in the 90s, people found out where the camera were, and they decided to drop some clothes off for the camera. In July 2011, Splash Mountain Magic Kingdom received lap bars for safety reasons. Each row of 2 to 3 passengers shares one lap bar. Meanwhile, in Tokyo, Disneyland received individual lap bars. The version of the attraction was planned for Disneyland Paris, but scrapped due to budget reasons and the cold weather in Europe. During the 2018 season, Magic Kingdom received a new sponsor by Ziploc. The company created custom plastic bags to protect belongings for guests who rode the attraction. In June 2020, it was announced that Disneyland and Magic Kingdom would be rethemed about Princess and the Frog. Development of the project began in 2019, prior to the online petitions that were circulating. And really, a lot of people were getting very, very aggravated about the idea that Song of the South had a presence in the park. So, Princess and the Frog, we were being told by Disney leadership that this was planning going on. They've been planning for this for a while. Let's just go with that notion. So we'll agree with what they said. They have had this planned. They have shared very few pictures or anything like that about what it's going to look like. So we'll see. It was supposed to close last year. It did not. Uncle COVID, I think, hurt it with the cost and the timing and everything. Excuse me for that. But basically, you get on an 8-passenger log seated 2x2, and you're going all over the place. You come down the big drop. The best scene is after that, where you have the big riverboat that's going back and forth. There's all kinds of cool, fun things. It's a song, zippity-doo-dah. Everybody's got a laughing place. How do you do? Those are the songs that are going to be stuck in your head for the rest of your trip. Disney World, Magic Kingdom, Frontierland, opened in 92. 52-foot drop. Goes 45 miles an hour. Right at 11 minutes and 45 seconds, the longest of the rides for any of the Splash Mountain rides is at Orlando. 68 audio animatronics and 5 drops in total. So, very cool ride, very fun ride. One of those that you always have to go on. When it's colder outside right now, this is when they typically do their refurbishment, which they are currently right now in early February. They close it down for a few weeks, make sure everything's all buttoned up, fresh coat of paint, everything looks good, and then it's open, ready for the spring season. What's it going to look like when Princess and the Frog comes in? Nobody really knows. who knows what they're going to do? Who knows what the story is going to be? Who knows what the angle is going to be? They're probably going to keep a lot of the same ideas, but they're just going to change it to get Song of the South out of there. In the world we live in, you can't have Song of the South in the theme park. Unfortunately, it's one of those that the world has changed. And I don't say unfortunately like, beliefs and everything like that. It's unfortunate that this ride is based off of that. It's unfortunate that there is that a connection, because you could really do Brer Fox and Brer Rabbit by themselves. If you had this whole idea and concept of what they're doing, Brer Rabbit, Brer Bear, it's a really cool, clever idea. It's really cool. So could you connect, further from that movie? Because that movie was made back in the day when there was a lot of different beliefs and a lot of different things being said and done. So it just needs to change. It does. It's a different world we live in right now. So it's going to be interesting once Princess and the Frog comes on board. It's going to be interesting to see all the changes that they make. It's going to be interesting who gets it first. Is it Disneyland or is it Disney World? And with that, what are the changes that you're going to see compared to park to park? It's probably going to be the same cookie cutter, put it in the same spot. But it's going to be interesting to see. They're not going to change the layout. They're not going to change the drops or anything like that. All they're going to change are the animatronics, audio animatronics, and maybe the boats themselves. So if you want to ride this, get down to Florida. Make sure you ride at a final time. They really don't have a time when they're going to close it. When this was announced, the people that sell all the crap on YouTube went absolutely insane, lost their minds, went down and bought a ton of the Splash Mountain merchandise. So it's out there. You're going to see that everywhere. It's really frustrating when people do that, because then the normal people that are there for a week every 2 or 3 years can't get what they need. But anyway, beside the point, Splash Mountain, great ride, a lot of fun. You do get wet, you don't get soaked. What got me is when it comes over on the side of the boat. That's the worst part. So anyway, that's the history of Splash Mountain. It's going to be very, very fun to see what is coming for the future. It's going to be very, very fun to see the next version, basically. So we'll stay tuned, and when that's announced, we'll bring it to you. We'll talk all about it and share our thoughts, and we'll see what the future holds for this cool ride. It's one of the mountains. It's one of the fun ones. There's nothing better than getting to that top and looking out. You can see all of Magic Kingdom. It's really, really cool. Love it a lot. So let me know. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Do you like this ride? Is it a must ride? Is it one that you've been turned off with the change? Are you happy about the change? Let me know. Let me know your comments. Let's create an open, clear dialogue and get some thoughts going about Splash Mountain. Again, please like and subscribe to the podcast on all your podcast outlets, but then also check us out online at dailycraig.net. Thank you so much for being here, and we will talk to you later.